friend Elinor Silverstein from Southern California, and we're old buddies in the Feldenkrais world, and we're also nature nuts, absolute nature nuts. And so I was just having a conversation with Elinor. I wanted to share with the world this art of listening, and she was telling me a story about her mother and her mother who was deaf. And I was saying, yeah, my dad was mostly deaf too. And we were talking about how we learn to talk and communicate with somebody who is deaf. Yeah. And more importantly, she was telling me how her mother learned how to hear without her ears. So would you please tell me what she did?
Well, first of all, my mother was an exquisite lip reader because she lost her hearing at the age of 8. And then my mother had studied yoga from 1956, 1954 on. And the thing she loved so much was the gongs, that they would hit the gong. And one day she's in my Feldenkrais studio. She goes, Elinor, I had a gong. I just got a gong. And she goes, okay, hit the gong. Now we're going to listen. And we're listening. And I'm like, and then I'm finished listening. And I go to turn and she goes, no, it's still going.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listening, and I don't hear it anymore. And she's saying, she says, I'll let you know when it's done. And she kept marking with her hand. And it probably went like another 35, 40 seconds. And then she goes, ooh, it's done. And I said, how did you do that? She goes, I listen through the vibration in my body. And sound is not just what you people who can hear are used to hearing, but sound comes into our body through the vibration through all of our bones. So then when you receive it through your bones, you'll actually hear the sounds and the different pitches, and you'll hear someone talk through the vibration. And so my brother came in, my husband came in, everyone's coming into my studio going, what are you guys doing? And we practiced it on everybody. And believe it or not, Annie, the person with the most difficult time hearing was able to take the frequency the longest and hear the gong the longest from everybody. Because everybody else was used to just using a part of the hearing.
And turning it off. Yeah,
and
it's over.
Yeah, and then going, oh, well, if it's done, it must be done, and not thinking anymore. And then years later, she was always sitting in my kitchen window here and always looking up our hill. And we live in the hills, and you would look up and there's always like a breeze because we're in a canyon up here, and big trees, they just kind of move with that. And she would talk about the importance of having a breeze. And one day I'm watching her and she goes like this. And I went, what's that? She goes, if you listen in the breeze, come the words and the messages, because the universe is always talking to us. It's just a matter if we choose to listen to it. And so one day I'm with her and we're sitting outside, her favorite place to be. You couldn't keep her inside. You think I'm an outside person. She always, I learned it from her, right? If you're going to have a house, the doors have to be open to the outside. And so I said, what are you doing? She goes, oh, I'm listening to the voices. Now, clearly I knew my mother wasn't crazy. And so I'm going, well, what voices? She goes, if you listen in the breeze, come the voices, and they tell us things. And I said, what are they telling you? What do you hear now? And she goes, they're saying, be nice. This was in the beginning of COVID, and people were very edgy with each other. And I go, be nice. Why would they just tell you be nice? She goes, because sometimes that is the most important thing to do, is to be nice today. You may change somebody's life by that. And then I would ask her other questions because she got lots of feedback in the voices in the breeze, lots of feedback. And she would tell me things that blew my mind. I mean, she told me that COVID was happening before COVID happened. She told me exactly what was happening with it. She told me how things were going to change, how people would be marching in the streets. All of these different things would be changing and how we would be coming out of it through the end, and which would be really a good thing. And so it was quite amazing. And I'm like, I'm not telling this to anybody. Right. And then, but I was writing it down and taking pictures and documenting it. And every step she said, and I go, where do you get this information? She goes, you just sit outside and the universe talks, and the universe has no fear. It's we have fear. So when you listen, it's just a fact. The universe says what it says. And there's many people like me who can listen to the voices in the breeze.
Well,
That
big message, right?
Very much so. And now we know, right? We know that our skull bones take in vibration to help us with hearing.
All of our bones.
And now we know
our feet. Our feet take in the vibration, right? We listen with our bones. So what a beautiful story, and what hope for people with hearing loss. Yeah. And people that don't even tune in well, to start listening with this kind of depth. So thank you for the story. And gosh, I'm just really grateful. We're going to pop this on so the world can hear it. Press like if you liked it, subscribe, and check out Elinor's channel. She's awesome. All right. Thank you.